Alright, folks, we are back. And up next we have Dear Escher. Esther? I don't know. Landmark Edition. This has been in my library for a very long time. Well, not the Landmark Edition, but the non-Landmark Edition, Dear Esther. It's been in my library for a very long time, and then one day the Landmark Edition showed up, and I've never played either of them. I remember when it first came out, because apparently there's like no real objective. You just kind of walk around and look at things. I think it started off as like a mod for Half-Life 2 or something. It was a long time ago, and everybody was like, "What is this? You don't do anything. You just walk around. How can that be a game?" And yeah, I don't remember where I got this from. It was probably just like in a sale or something. Why would there be a crosshair? Turn that off. Turn that up. Okay. There are apparently levels. I don't know.
Dear Esther, I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
Okay, well, hey, we have a flashlight. We cannot jump. The heck? I don't know what that is. Is this like secretly a puzzle game? Have I just been wrong about this the entire time? I wasn't expecting a little commentary. Nobody really mentioned anything about that I heard. Alright, let's take the high road. Can we walk faster? Nope. This is how we do. That antenna off in the distance looks interesting. Yeah, we walk very slowly. Okay, good. I was about to say, we've apparently chosen poorly.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form.
Huh.
Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more
Flashlight.
peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
So was I going crazy, or was there like some lights blinking over there? I don't know why the flashlight isn't working in here. Guess I don't really need it, but... Alright. Can we kind of shimmy around here? Nope. Oh god. Okay, well, nice stroll on the beach. That works too. That works too. People need to clean their shit up, man. Leaving all this stuff laying around. Very desolate. Oh.
Those islands in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time. Sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
What islands in the distance? I don't see any islands in the distance. I keep wanting to go faster, but this game is forcing me to go slow. Which I guess isn't bad. It kind of reminds me, there was a Flash game back in the day when that was still a thing.
Reading Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight. He landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend. But then, he didn't have my reasons.
Was I talking? Yeah, the Flash game. But hold that thought, because right now, like all this, like, oh, it doesn't understand the island and blah blah blah. I'm getting like, you know what I'm getting? I'm getting major Lost vibes. That's what I'm getting from the show, Lost. Where they just show up on some random ass island and nobody knows what's going on, and there's technology scattered around like that antenna in the distance, and we just gotta piece things together. So very similar in that regard.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Infection? Yeah, that is interesting. I noticed that. Yeah, so the other thing, I was talking about the Flash game, because it's just forcing us to go, you know, kind of deliberately and slow, and we can't sprint, we can't zoom, we can't bunny hop, we can't do nothing. There's a Flash game called Don't Shoot the Puppy. Absurd name, I know. And basically, there was this little dog, and there was a gigantic gun that was just pointed at the dog, and you had to not shoot the puppy. And if you did anything, literally anything, if you moved the mouse, if you clicked on anything, the gun would go off, and you just had to sit there and wait. And each level would try and scam you or trick you into interacting with the game in some way. So there'd be like fake pop-up ads, or fake buttons pop up, be like next level or level complete or skip level, or like random things like that to get you to move the mouse and click on things. But all you had to do was just sit there and not do anything for like 20-ish minutes to beat the game. Kind of amusing. What are these? Pretty flowers, I guess. There's like some Stonehenge stuff going on down there. Definitely a troll game.
They were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether.
This place
in the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance, that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradictions?
This place been abandoned since 1748 or whatever. Nah, I was saying, speaking of troll games, I think one of the most troll Flash games is the, it's called the Unfair Platformer. Man, if you never played that, Unfair isn't even the start of it. It's just... that game was very frustrating.
Dear Esther, I met Paul.
Who the hell's
I
Paul?
made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
So is this the cave that... Yeah, this is the cave. You see up there. The hell is that noise? It's just the water. Up there's where we were looking. There was like that blinking light over here. But the pathway to the antenna. I want to get to the antenna. That's honestly just where I'm trying to go. So let's go to the antenna. Unless, you know, it forces us along. Which it might. It might, you know, funnel us into the cave. Which is fine. If it does, we'll go. But I want to get to that antenna. Just to see if we can. Yeah, no, the reason I'm talking about Flash games so much is I've actually been on somewhat of a Flash game kick. There's something
The
called...
vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and rib cage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
What? Okie dokie. Yeah, no, as I was saying, Flash game kick. Yeah, there's something called Flashpoint Infinity, or thereabouts, I think is what it is. And it's basically just big old archive of all the Flash games you can download. If you download the entire archive, it's like over a terabyte of games, animations, and movies that were all done in Flash. Or you can just download the launcher itself. And then you can just search for any Flash game and download them, you know, onesie twosie as you see fit. So pretty cool that, you know, people have been keeping those types of things alive, because I was very sad on the days that, you know, they were discontinuing Flash. I spent a large part of my earlier years on Flash portals. Great stuff. Loading.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence.
What's that?
It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Where'd the antenna go? I don't see it. But speaking of things that I see, I did see that blinking yellow light. Also, what's up with this? That looks a lot newer than 1740 whatever. That this island has supposedly been... Oh, there's the antenna. Alright. We will get there. What is that? We have a new thing to hold our attention. Is that like a buoy? Yeah, it's like a... looks like a buoy floating out there. Or something. Pretty sure that's what it is.
It's only at night that this place makes any sluggish effort at life. You can see the buoy and the aerial. I've been taking to sleeping through the day in an attempt to resurrect myself. I can feel the last days drawing upon me. There's little point now in continuation. There must be something new to find here. Some nook or some cranny that offers a perspective worth clinging to. I've burnt my bridges. I've sunk my boats and watched them go to water.
Man, sounds like this guy's got a lot of shit going on that he needs to deal with. It was just... I can't make out that first word, but it says neither did he eat nor drink. Does that say and, maybe? Yeah, and neither did he eat nor drink. That's weird. That, you know, somebody would slap that on the side of the boat. You know, I feel like they got the bones, the skeleton of a horror game here if they really wanted to. But they didn't go in that direction. Just as well, because if they did, I wouldn't be playing it. I don't like horror games. Not my jam. I know some people get off on that, but it ain't me. Watching other people play horror games can be amusing, but I don't really even particularly enjoy that, really. I just don't like horror games. There are some, you know, like, I think the only one that I will profess to like is Soma, but that's just because it was a very interesting story and an interesting environment. That's about it. Back to trying to get to the antenna. We can't get to the buoy.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital.
Oh.
After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Oh, man. So I guess, is Esther this dude's wife? Or girlfriend or something? Because it sounds like, she died. What is down there? I don't think
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Ah. Well. I think this is one time where Cowabunga it isn't. I do not want to jump down there. Oh, look, a house. Alright. Yes, kidney stones. That is... I'm dreading the day that, if that ever happens to me, or at least I'm hoping that it never does, because I've known people that have
begun my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
Under? No. We do not go through the mines of Moria. We go over the mountain. Saruman be damned. I don't want to know what's down that pit. Yeah, no, kidney stones, man. I got a buddy that's, I don't know, like 5, 10 years older than me. Ooh, man, he just got over something and did not sound pleasant.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Nice scenery. Man, wake up to this every morning. If it wasn't so like cloudy and overcast, be able to see very far. Oh, what's in here? Oh, see, flashlight works in here.
A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here.
Oh God.
I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Alright, so I guess this... What the fuck? What is that? Is that like two people doing something? I don't know. Apparently this was our house that we had with Esther. And we're gonna burn it on our last day of existence or something. Alright, that goes down. And we don't want that because here at Edco we only go up. Oh man, that's the only episode of Ed, and Eddie that I actually remember. I mean there's tons of other episodes and it was a pretty hilarious show. But that one sticks out the most to me for some reason. Edco, we only go up. Okay, I have to go that way. Can't go that way. Looks like down. I don't want to go down, I want to go up. I must get to the antenna. Well, there's my kitty. I don't know if you can hear him meowing. What was that system sound? I don't know. Alright. Man, could you imagine this in the winter? If this got like covered in snow or ice? It'd be real rough getting down here. Ugh. Antenna, please. That's all I want. I just want to get to the antenna. Even the... Yeah, I think this is the right way.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed. The result of some birth defect, or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Okie doke.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
I don't want to go in the cave. I want to go to the antenna. What do I care about some lame dead guy?
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken.
No, he didn't.
It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
I don't recall slipping and breaking our leg. What's this candle doing here? What, are we going down there? Fuck's down here? Oh, goodness. Can't see shit.
From here, this last time, I have understood there is no turning back. The torch is failing along with my resolve. And hear the singing of the sea creatures from the passages above me, and they are promising the return of the gulls.
Well, somebody's clearly been here before. This candle wouldn't be here. There's our flashlight, but maybe that's why we can't walk, 'cause we busted our leg. Whoa, what is those eyes over there? Pretty place. No, it's just, what is this? Fungus? Lichen? Dude, how much drugs did you take? Mushrooms don't glow.
There is no other direction, no other exit from this motorway. Speeding past this junction, I saw you waiting at the roadside, a one last drink in your trembled hands.
Where are we going? Yeah, there's no way out. Is that it? Do we just die? Do we just curl up and die? Or do we... Oh, wait. Oh, that's pretty. I don't want to go down there. Nah. I'm crazy. Although that is very pretty. Like, top notch. Ugh, if I lived at a place Or I could just go here whenever I wanted. I would come here. I'd come here and just sit down. Like, very pretty. Anyway, I'm running out of time, so I do have a limited amount of time this morning. And it has been 30 minutes, and I have about 2 more minutes before I have to go do my other thing. So, we're going to wrap it up here. Dear Escher, very interesting. And yeah, kind of unlike most other games out there. I could see, you know, if you like this type of thing, it's interesting. The story, I mean, I guess, sort of interesting. It just sounds like the ramblings of some lonely dude that wants to, you know, end his life or whatever. Because his Escher got killed by a drunk driver. Unless I totally misinterpreted it. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. And move on to the next thing on our list next time. So, thank you all for watching, as always. And we'll see you in the next one.